Alright, so this is the moment we've all been waiting for. I finally sat down to film my YouTube video. Um, for those of you who don't know, my name's Isabella Geraci. Everybody calls me Izzy, and I play flag football for the U.S. National Women's Flag Football Team. And I'm hoping to compete in the 2028 Olympics. But before I talk about that, I want to kind of give you a rundown of who I am, what I do, and why I love sports so much. So growing up, I played every sport, you name it. Well, I guess we can argue that I didn't play every sport, but I played all like the main sports that everybody knows. And then if you throw football in there, I started football when I was 7, and I played flag with all the boys. And then I played up until my freshman year of high school. I actually played tackle after those first 2 years of flag, which was really, really fun for me. I grew up watching the Buckeyes and watching Ted Ginn, and so I always thought, like, I say always, when I was 7, I thought, like, why couldn't I do that? And my parents let me, so that's how I got into football. And then basketball and track were my other two favorites. Kind of played basketball around the same time, rec league, and then really focused on it after I quit football in high school, and wanted to get a scholarship, play in college and get college paid for, which I ended up doing. I played Division I basketball in college for 5 years. The one good thing that came out of COVID was giving me that extra 5th year. So I played at Cleveland State for 4 of those years, graduated with a degree in marketing, and then played at USC Upstate for my 5th year, where I picked up track as well. So I did high jump and long jump there, which was my favorite year of college. Just a great way to end it. I moved to South Carolina then and absolutely loved it. And during that time, I was kind of like watching flag take off and was really amazed at how many people were getting into it, and high schools were starting to have it as a sport. So I was like, man, I always wished I never gave up football. It's been my favorite sport all my life, and leaving it really like killed me. And granted, I played tackle, so it was like not the same, but I was like, this is giving me the option to get back into football. So I needed to hop on it right away. And as soon as I finished my eligibility in college, I started reaching out to people, one of those people being Madison Fulford, who is now my teammate on USA. And I knew she lived in the Charlotte area, so at the time I had moved to Charlotte. Reached out to her. She pointed me in the direction of Jen Weaver, who got me into like a local league in Charlotte, playing around there, who then also brought me into like tournament series for club football. And club is like, it's confusing, but club is just like you play year round. It's almost like AAU basketball, if you know about that, or like travel volleyball, any like travel sport that isn't really a high school sport, but for adults. So we started playing in Charlotte, and then tournaments would come to Charlotte. We played in those, and during that time I was like collecting film, and things like that. And Madison actually reached back out to me, and she was like, you didn't tell me you were good at football. Like, I would have put you on our team. And so she ended up adding me to their roster, which is a pro division club team. So it's like the highest division you can get in club. So it's like serious comp. And yeah, so I started playing with them. And we, you travel around the nation, and you'll play in tournaments that are sanctioned by, whether it's Weekend Warrior, USA Flag, or USA Football will do tournaments. I know there's other ones, but those are really the only ones that I've played in, and then a Lynn Lewis tournament as well. So there's a ton of tournaments to get into. So we start playing, I start collecting film, and then since I didn't really get scouted by USA Football Scouts, I filled out a digital combine, which is from the Game Time app, GMTM. And I just kind of uploaded my highlights in there, and then I did like your normal, like NFL, what is it? Why am I blanking? NFL Draft Combine. You submit your scores for it, which is like vertical, broad jump, 5-10-5, 40-yard dash, L drill, like all of those types of drills, minus the weightlifting part. And so you submit your stuff, you submit your highlights, and then they evaluate you digitally versus if they weren't able to see you in person, which they'll still scout in person at USA Football events, which I maybe have gotten in front of someone at the back end of like right before they invite people, right before they send out trials invites. But yeah, so I submitted all that, and then I luckily got invited to trials. This was all last year. So this all happened from 2023 to 2024. So I got invited to trials, and that was going to happen in February, I think it was last year, end of February. And that's in Charlotte. And so we go to Charlotte because there's a U.S. National Performance Center there. And so we'll go there, and it's our men's team, our women's team, and then our junior kids were there last year, but not during trials. So it was just us and the men's team. And so we were trying out. There's 60 people who get invited, and then that 60 gets knocked down to 18, and then that 18 gets knocked down to 12. So once they find the 18 roster, that's technically the team, but the 6 people that don't make it to the 12 are alternates. So if someone were to get hurt, they pull you up, and there's that. So you're technically on the team if you make the 18. You just won't be on the traveling roster. So we only brought 12 people to Finland when we went to the World Championship last year. But yeah, so trials works like you'll do all those drills again. There's 60 women there, and 60 men, and you'll do all those like combine drills again, and then the days go into like a lot of scrimmaging, a lot of like drills, and seeing how you like work with different players, and kind of like trying to build a puzzle. And there's a ton of scouts, ton of coaches, people within USA Football that are kind of evaluating you, and you literally just have to be at your best. Nobody's spot's safe as much as people think it is. Like, it's not. They're evaluating you on your performance there. So if you don't perform good there, you probably won't make it even if you've been on it. So it's like, it's nerve-wracking because you have that in your head where you're like, dang, like, it doesn't matter what I did before this. It's these like three days where it really matters, and I really got to be like 110%. Yeah, so I come in, it's my first year, first time being invited, and I like don't even know what to expect. I had already met some of the girls because I played with them for club, which was great. Because I know a lot of them didn't have that when they first tried out. They all kind of didn't know each other yet. So I know them going in. It's great. Super cold in Charlotte. Literally freezing rain, like not fun. Everybody's toes and fingers were frozen, like not a good time at all. And so we finish, go home on Sunday. I was living there at the time, so whatever, just drove home. And then we found out, I want to say like a week later, coaches gave us a call and told us whether we made it or not. And I made the 18 roster, which I literally could not believe. Like, first time in, had no idea what to expect, made the 18, couldn't even believe it. And from then we, formed our team group chat. We were on top of each other about training because we all don't live next to each other. Like, we're living states away. So that's the thing about it, is you're trusting that your teammate is going to be training on their own, and then we'll meet for Zooms and we'll go over like film stuff or like playbook and things like that. So that's the weirdest part about it, is we're not on a contract, like a 2-year or 4-year contract where we can all like move to a state and live there and train together and practice together. You're literally going to your own gym with your own trainer, working out with your friends. Like, it's just so different than any other sport, really. But it's growing, which is the greatest part. So hopefully that changes, where we can actually, like, once we're on the team, be contracted to be on the team for however many so years. But until then, yeah, we're just on it for a year. So we all live in our respective states. At the time I was in Charlotte. And yeah, we just train, we meet on Zoom. And then our training camps, we get invited back to Charlotte, which they'll fly us in and, house us and everything like that. So that first training camp is when they'll make the cut down to 12. So that happened. I made the 12, and it was like a seriously emotional time, because everything's happening. We're having a documentary filmed at the time, so there's cameras in your face, like things like that. And you want to be happy for everyone who made it and things like that, but it sucks because your teammates are being cut too. So it's like you don't know how to feel. So it's just very confusing emotionally. But honestly, it was an experience for sure. But like I said, I made the team. And from then on, we had 2 more training camps where we everybody flew back into Charlotte to UNCC, and we had our 3 day. It's always like a Thursday to a Sunday that we'll do a training camp, and it's 2 days. So we get a lot of time together. We eat together, we stay together, like all this stuff. So second training camp, did everything. Everybody went back home, and then that third training camp was right before we left for Finland. So we actually flew out of Charlotte for Finland right after we finished our last day of the training camp. So it's 3 training camps, and we fly out on that third one to Finland to the IFAF World Championships. And the World Championships happen, well, a World Championship, I guess international championship happens every year. The year before I was on the team, they did continentals in Charlotte, actually. So all the Americas. So you got like North America, South American teams like Canada, us, Mexico, Chile, Panama, like all those, America's teams were coming. And yeah, I wasn't on that team. They won gold though. So that was great. And come this past year, it was the IFAF World Flag Championships. So there was like maybe 28 women's teams, different countries. And then for men, it was like maybe 32. So in total, there was like 50 teams with like 32 different countries, which is just crazy to think about that this many people play flag football at such a high level. But yeah, we ended up, going to Finland. And it was kind of like you were on an Olympic training site. We were at Finland's like Olympic training center, but obviously all these other countries were there. So it was like a college campus kind of. And it was tournament style. So it was like pool play games, or it was like seeding games. And then you got into your pool play, like tournament style. And then it was like, you lose, you're out. So we ended up playing Mexico in the gold final, won gold. Unbelievable experience. First year in, we win gold. Like, just crazy turn of events for my last, like, from my 2023 to 2024, like, time span. Like, just insane. Never would have thought in my life. But here we are. And I really just couldn't believe it. We celebrated there. Like, I've made so many friends through the flag community, whether it's club or whether it's with the national team. But honestly, it's been an amazing ride. And once we got back home, it was just like back to the normal grind. Like everybody works a full-time job pretty much, or they're in college playing college flag, or coaching college flag. So it's cool to know that all these women and men, like on the men's side, it's the same thing. Like nobody's being paid to play flag really. Like you get these endorsement deals, like, and things like that, but nobody's like at that level where they can just live off of those yet. So we all work, and when we won gold, we just went back home and we started working and we started training again. And it's just like that never-ending cycle until like further notice. We know that every year we're gonna have to make the team. So we just went back to that normal grind. And it's been like that since, and we have tryouts coming up less than 2 weeks right now. So as I'm making this video, tryouts is coming up for my second year around. So this coming year we would play in China and we would play in Panama. And China's going to be the World Games, so it's like a baby Olympics. And so there's different sports there like rock climbing, cheerleading, I think lacrosse maybe. So it's going to be really interesting to see because we'll be involved in, we get to witness other sports play, and then we get to see more countries that are participating. So super exciting. But that's like if we make the team, because, you don't ever know. It's going to be a year basis. But yeah, like the future is super bright for the sport. I know a lot of states are sanctioning it as a high school sport for girls, which is amazing to see. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, so I know that's on the come up right now. I know it's like in the plans. It's the fastest growing sport in the world by far. So it's super exciting, and it's super cool to hear how other countries are making it such a big deal where they're at and how it's began for them, because obviously America, like, it's always been our sport. So to hear how other countries are bringing it up where they are is just amazing. And what these people are doing that are involved in the sport, and what the sacrifices they're making to, help grow this thing. So I know the NFL does a lot, especially with NFL flag, and then funding like a lot of the high school teams. So it's amazing, and it's growing for sure, and with the 2028 Olympics and with flag being in it, especially in LA, in America, like it's gonna be huge. So if you're watching this and you don't think you can do it, I promise you, you can play flag. Like that's the best part about the game is it's easy to get into. And if you don't think you can catch a ball, you can play defense, break up passes. Like there's always a spot for you on the field, which is awesome. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to tell my story. I probably left some stuff out because I always forget things and I tried to write it down, but I just talk. So if there's questions that you guys have about flag or anything in general, leave it in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to post a lot about flag and my journey and everything like that and how you can get involved in opportunities in the flag world. So please follow, please comment. I want to help as much as I can. I want to help grow the sport. And I think with YouTube as such a great platform to do that, I can help a ton there. So my Instagram and my TikTok have information as well. Whether you just want to follow like the U.S. national team or if you want to get involved in club, USA Flag is a huge thing. Weekend Warrior is a huge thing. So yeah, if you think you can't do it, I promise you can. I had my journey start all happen within a year. So like there's always an opportunity. But yeah, like I said, if there's questions, please comment. Send me a message on Instagram or anything like that. Be happy to answer. I'll probably make a video of a bunch of questions that are asked because I've already been asked a ton. And I'll probably do some stuff about explaining flag, like the flag sport, more so coming up. I'll probably post some vlogs about where flag can take you, where like it's sent me. So I get to do events for the NFL now and things like that. So it's super exciting. And yeah, I want to show you guys like the opportunities you have in the sport to help grow it and help people realize how awesome it is. So that's all I got. Hopefully this wasn't terrible. It's my first video. I probably left a ton of stuff out, but like I said, comment, subscribe, follow me on all socials, stay in the loop, and I'll do my best to fill you in and, you know, help spread awareness for the sport. Appreciate it. See ya.